After a while, among the medical workers and activists, he acquired a reputation as a kind of one-man clearinghouse for information about chemical weapons. He also picked up a new nickname, Hazem al-Kimawi, or in English, Chemical Hazem. It fit. Since childhood, friends and relatives had called him Hazem, which in Arabic means strong willed. But getting others to share his passion wasn't easy in the early days of the war. The young doctor, known as Chemical Hazem, was taking a cat nap in an empty office when word arrived in Aleppo of the massive attack near Damascus. He had worked the overnight shift and had only slept a couple of hours when the hospital's chief physician roused him. "Wake up," his boss said. "There's been a big chemical attack." Al-Nahas quickly started up his computer to check the news. Within seconds, the awful images from Ghouta were streaming across his screen. "This is exactly what I predicted might happen," he thought. As he searched for more details, Al-Nahas's Skype account began to light up. On the line was a doctor from a hospital in East Ghouta. Al-Nahas had never spoken with the man before, but he was frantic and looking for expert help. No one in Ghouta had been trained to treat victims of a poison gas attack, he said, and now his hospital was overwhelmed with them. There were hundreds of sick and dying, and more arriving. Nurses and hospital orderlies were collapsing as they worked. Al-Nahas had his guidance documents ready and began to calmly read, as the Ghouta doctor jotted notes. He described decontamination techniques, such as how a mixture of chlorine and water could be used to remove sarin from exposed skin. He ticked off a list of medicines to be used and the proper doses. He detailed the kinds of protective clothing that could prevent secondary contamination of medical workers. The doctor thanked him and ended the call, but then a second doctor called, and a third. Al-Nahas continued to take calls throughout the day, but the more advice he meted out, the more futile it all seemed. There simply weren't enough medicines. There were no decontamination areas for washing down victims. There were no masks or protective gowns for staff. What was clear even over Skype was that the number of victims was massive, and many were dying who might have been saved. During a pause later in the day, Al-Nahas stopped to think about what would happen if a similar attack occurred in his corner of Aleppo, a place he believed was ready for a chemical attack, largely because of his efforts. "We had been working hard on preparations for handling up to 100 victims," he said. "Here we were looking at thousands. By the time it was over, there were maybe 12,000 exposed and 1,500 dead, and there was nothing we could do." All this is from the book Red Line, Joby Warwick.